19 Islamic terrorists changed the course of American and world history on September 11, 2001. Now, over a decade after the 9/11 attacks, and after billions of dollars and thousands of lives lost battling radical Islam, America faces a terrorist threat that seems only to be expanding. We've seen the damage ISIS has caused these past few months in the Middle East, and the pipeline of Western recruits who are eager to join the emerging caliphate. At the same time, Al-Qaeda now covers more geographical ground than it did on 9/11. And Iran, the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism, continues its drive for a nuclear bomb. Plus, Iran's proxy Hezbollah is well-trained, well-equipped, and active in the Western Hemisphere. With so many threats gathering, what should Americans be most concerned about? Our experts weighed in. Take a look. Rudy, you've worked at the highest echelons of our counterterrorism community here in the U.S. You've seen it all. Is ISIS the worst of the worst? Are they the worst you've seen when it comes to Islamic terrorist organizations?
I think they definitely take the #1 spot. I mean, you know, it'll be interesting to see how they morph. My biggest concern right now is this ideology. One, they're flush with cash. But that ideology that they're planting, those seeds in the youth that are flocking to them, and we've got you know, thousands of people from Europe, from across North Africa that have joined them. This young demographic generation that's disgruntled, that's found a cause in ISIS, is now being fed this radicalism, and this is where we have to be very careful because the future looks bleak if we let this continue.
ISIS undoubtedly has momentum, money, up to $2 billion by some accounts, heavy arms, and thousands of fanatical fighters on its side. Stephen Bucci, the former top Pentagon official, says this combination of factors has made ISIS a powerhouse in the world of terror and a magnet for aspiring jihadists. Do you believe now that ISIS, with their flush with cash, they control territory, lots of fighters, have they kind of eclipsed Al-Qaeda and become the biggest show in the Sunni jihadi world?
Success always breeds attraction. These young men, and the vast majority are young men, though there are some women in their ranks, but they all want to be part of the victory. So whichever group is getting that success at the time, and right now it's ISIS, they all want to go sign up and fight there.
He says we underestimate ISIS at our peril.
Like Al-Qaeda, prior to 9/11, they declared war on us and we ignored them. I hope we're not doing the same thing with ISIS, who have been very clear with what their goals are, very open with the extent to which they think their jihad will go, and with the methods they use to get there, which is pretty abhorrent. We cannot make the assumption, well, that's really not what they mean. We could just talk with them. No, we can't. These are people, the only way they will be stopped is to kill them. And that's a sad commentary, but I'm afraid it's the truth.
What about Al-Qaeda, the organization ISIS sprang from after a bitter falling out earlier this year? During the 2012 presidential campaign, Obama administration officials repeatedly said that Al-Qaeda was on the decline.
There should be no doubt. Today, America is stronger, and Al-Qaeda is on the path to defeat.
We've decimated Al-Qaeda's leadership.
Al-Qaeda is on the path to defeat, and bin Laden is dead.
We've decimated Al-Qaeda Central. We have eliminated Osama bin Laden.
Al-Qaeda is much weaker than it was when I came into office.
Yet Al-Qaeda and its allies have actually expanded their reach since 9/11, from the tribal regions of Pakistan to Yemen, Somalia, Syria, Iraq, Sinai, Libya, Mali, Europe, and beyond. U.S. intelligence officials say Al-Qaeda's Yemen branch in particular has been a center for plots against the United States. That same Al-Qaeda branch has spoken approvingly of ISIS. Do you think they may set aside their differences, see which way the winds are blowing in the direction of ISIS and the caliphate, and say, hey, we want to be a part of this. We want to reconcile our differences with you and possibly even, if not pledge allegiance to ISIS, fight alongside ISIS, join up with ISIS? Do you think that's possible with Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, and other worldwide terror groups?
ISIS might end up absorbing Al-Qaeda. Zawahiri, the chief of Al-Qaeda, may not declare allegiance to ISIS, but what we're seeing are the Al-Qaeda affiliates being put in a very uncomfortable position. They don't want to forswear their allegiance to the al-Qaeda chief, but they're still endorsing what ISIS does. They may disagree with their declaration of the caliphate from a procedural point of view, but they still say this is good. They are creating a safe haven for us, and they are winning.
But ISIS and al-Qaeda may not be America's #1 concerns. Former Treasury Department and FBI analyst Matthew Levitt points out that Iran and its proxy Hezbollah are capable of striking America if they so choose.
Iran and Hezbollah have been involved in so many plots over the past few years that, according to the former director of the National Counterterrorism Center, there have been times when the daily threats that are being briefed to the president are not all or primarily about al-Qaeda or ISIS. The top 1 or 2 or sometimes even 3 have been Iranian and Hezbollah plots.
That's one more reason why a nuclear-armed Iran would be a massive game changer. But in terms of imminent threats at the moment, ISIS has to be at the top of the list. So what can be done to stop them? Stay tuned to find out.